It's about half an hour after sunrise on a misty morning here in Northumberland. The sun is just shining through the mist. It's rather beautiful, and a daffodil or two are out in our garden, and we'll come back to that later. Just firstly, on a personal note, I say this as a note of encouragement to people who are still questioning all this. Lynn and I had our vaccinations yesterday at one of the big centres in the Nightingale Hospital in Washington, just close to the Angel of the North. We chose to go there because, firstly, we could book online and it frees up GP places in our local area. But what I wanted to say was the procedure was brilliantly organised. There were lots of people to help us and to look after us, and we were in and out in less than an hour, including a sort of period sitting around to make sure that we didn't get an adverse reaction and things like that. Lovely conversations with people and a really good thing. And we're both so far feeling fine after the vaccination today. So what I would say to people is, when you get your blue letter, that's the letter in with the blue writing on the envelope, please do something about it, because the sooner that we all get vaccinated, the better it is, not only for ourselves, but for everyone else in our communities. In vaccination, we're doing something, yes, personally for ourselves, but we're also doing something which has a positive effect on others. And we're doing it as part of a community and as part of a community response to this pandemic. So get your jab. We did. We don't have a badge or a sticker, but we do have that little card that sits in our wallets. And we go back at the end of May for the second jab. So there we are. But let's go on to the daffodils in our garden. There are just a few here in the garden. Around the corner under somebody's wall, there's a whole swathe, a host of golden daffodils. And we're thinking about Wales today because it's St. David's Day and a day of celebration for Wales. Although I would have thought Wales had enough to celebrate this weekend, having had divine intervention in the form of a referee who helped them out on Saturday. Anyway, no more controversy. Back to St. David. St. David, first of all, we have to remember, is a saint of the 6th century, lived in the 500s, probably died about 601, maybe a little bit before. The dates are always a bit uncertain at these times. And he lived in Ceredigion, which is over in West Wales, over towards the coast there. And he became eventually the Bishop of St. David's, strangely named after him. What do we know about him? Well, he was part of a tradition that predates the Roman mission to this country, and that's very important. We have a lot of conversation about Roman, Celtic, Irish mission, and the contrast between the Celtic saints and the Roman missionaries. Firstly, the important thing to hold on to is that they believe the same. They were both, in terms of today, Orthodox Christians, believing in the Trinity, the divinity of Christ, believing in God's love for us all, and the desire of God for us to take up our cross and to follow Christ. Their faith was the same. It was expressed in different ways, and sometimes too much is made of this, but the important thing to understand maybe is that the bishops and the monasteries of what we call the Celtic or the Irish Church, the Celtic and the Anglo-Saxon Church as it became in the northwest and northeast of England, tended to be missionaries more to a people than to a place. So they went to that tribe or that group of people, that nation, because England was more than one nation. And David was part of that tradition, founding monasteries, evangelizing the people of Wales, not so much by its physical boundaries, but by the people who lived there and their already existing fellowship one with another. And this was an important understanding of the Celtic Church. Tomorrow we'll be talking about St. Chad and another way of expressing that. But let's stick with David at the moment. What David sought to do was to bring the people that he knew, people who shared a lot with him, into a fellowship with Christ. He was, as I said, not so much a bishop to an area. There are thoughts that he may have founded even the monastery at Glastonbury, but a bishop to a people. And as someone said, when they really analysed the effect and the lasting impact of these saints, these Celtic, Irish, Welsh and Northern English saints, is that they were authentic. There was no gap between what they said and what they did. They lived out powerfully the life of Christ in them. People saw it and were drawn to it. And that's worth remembering when we think about ourselves. If we can live out authentically the life of Christ in us, then people will see that and will be drawn to it. It's a really good resolution for today. In the meantime, greetings and congratulations to all my Welsh friends, and have a wonderful day. May God bless us all.